Well, folks, in today's episode, oh, hi, Jim, by the way. Seems rude that I'm not saying hi to you, but in today's episode, we're going to dive into the media's sudden turn against Biden and the intense scrutiny that the House Judiciary Committee had a hearing on Judge Merchant and the Alvin Bragg case. We'll get into that.
Fake news.
What?
Fake news.
Fake news. We discussed the Democrats' alleged strategies to manipulate the upcoming elections and their America Last policies. We also explore the controversial shift in medical schools, DEI, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Lastly, we focus on Wisconsin, a critical state for 2024 elections. Plus, folks, stay tuned. We got a brief visit from Elena Barbera, the based mother. She has a show on the Patriots Prayer Network, just like we do. So stay tuned for all that. Jim, on what?
It would be two guys.
It would.
One coup.
Be right back.
Welcome to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim, where the truth matters and progressives' feelings don't. We bring you the facts from the perspective of two average, everyday guys who will never apologize for being America first, for adhering to our great Constitution, and for saluting the flag that our brothers and sisters have fought and died for. And now, here's Dale and Jim.
I'm Dale. That's Jim. For those of you just joining us, welcome everybody.
You need to go.
I don't know. It's backwards on this thing.
But
for
you
me.
pointed straight.
Still,
ahead.
did I? Well, that's over theirs.
Come on, get professional. Let's go.
The smart one's Jim. We'll just leave it at that. Folks, welcome again. Another great episode. Happy to be on the Patriots Prayer Network. I don't know if you've kind of followed everybody that's on the Patriots Prayer Network, but there's a series of us on here, all conservative, all with similar viewpoints, but different takes on it all. One of them, and we're gonna bring her on here quickly, is Elena Barbera. She is the based mother. Let me go into briefly about Elena and who she is, and then we'll bring her up. But she is an American mother turned YouTuber who gained prominence through her involvement in political and social activism. She started by contributing to her son's YouTube channel before launching her own platform to address the concerns about social issues. Her documentary, American Groomer, highlights the sexualization of children in American schools and advocates against it. Elena is known for her strong stance on these topics and has become a notable figure in conservative circles. Jim, bring her on. Let's bring Elena on and get her here. Any day, Jim.
The three.
There we go.
Hello, fellas.
Elena, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Boy, I'll tell you, what you do is so very important, and we'll get into all of that, and especially the documentary, because not if everybody has seen it or heard of it or what have you. It's so very, very important because we've done topics and subjects on this since our podcast started on another platform, right? So for a couple of years now, we've talked about the grooming of our youth, whether that be by things like DEI or sexually grooming them to think that they're a different gender or that they can be called these different pronouns, and then that this is the right path, and then the hell with it. We won't even tell the parents, just give them puberty blockers, or we'll start the social transitioning part of it at least, right? Without parental knowledge. You've been fighting that for how long now? I mean, fill us in.
Really not that long, to be honest. So I started, basically what I do is I'm just a regular American citizen who started to see that she was being lied to by the mainstream media. And that started with all the lies about Donald Trump. And I started where I would see a speech of his and see it in entirety. And then I would see what the mainstream media reported, and it just shattered my trust and my faith in them. So in this particular issue, I started to see the mainstream media talking about crazy Nazi right-wing fascist extremist parents who were
domestic
quote
terrorists.
unquote, domestic terrorists, quote unquote, banning books. And I had already, my faith in them was already shattered. And so I said, you know what, though, I hate censorship. Absolutely love freedom of speech. So I was like, I got to see these books. So I ordered a bunch of the books that were quote unquote banned, and they were filthy, vile, vulgar, S&M, kink, orgies, making say literally in one
rape,
in one
incest,
book,
the list goes on.
Erotica, name it, you name it, violence, sex. In one book, talking about how STDs are, and I quote, no biggie. And I just, I just couldn't believe it. So it was last summer. That was actually last July.
Wow.
That I started that I bought all the books, and then I started talking about them with people, and they started denying it. This isn't happening. No. Well, you know, even if it is happening, it's not happening in my.
Oh, it's such a small scale, right?
Yeah. And I realized that people do not know. So I started researching, and I actually I'm a Christian. I prayed, and I was like, what do I do about this? And it just came to me, make a documentary. I've never made a documentary before. I've never conducted interviews before. I literally studied and learned how to do all of this in a couple of months, and I did it. And I went out and I went up and down the coast, interviewing people who are already in this fight, interviewing people on the street, showing them the materials. And I put together this fast-paced 36-minute documentary, and it's gained legs. And it's, you know, I've been on Newsmax and OAN and a bunch of channels, and now on your show, because people, once they hear it, they cannot believe what they hear.
Correct.
I couldn't believe what I learned.
Yeah.
Making this film, but I think I'm proud of it. It's not an HBO level quality documentary.
It looks great.
Everything in it is true. And and quite frankly, I've gotten, considering I have zero experience, I've gotten really,
it looks great.
Really good feedback on it.
Yeah.
But it does the job of giving you an overview of exactly how our children are being groomed day in and day out. And I can't tell people enough. You got to pick a fight.
Yeah.
Whether you're fighting against illegal immigration, or you're fighting crime in your neighborhood, or you're fighting to protect the innocence of children, come with me. We all have to get up and pick a fight and get uncomfortable. And yes, this cost me a lot of money. It put me, you know, it's cost me a lot of, you know, hate coming at me, you know, having to shield hate. But a lot of time, but I don't care. I want to save my country. And I really hope people will look at this and get in this fight. But if not, get in one of them.
You're right. We've found when we brought up these books, right? We've run into a number of people. Dale got up close and personal in Philadelphia with a couple of them, but we address them, and when they sit there and make comments, when they sit there and say, you guys, they just want a book ban. They just want a book ban. And I'm like, no, that's not what this is. And then when we show them, because I literally go in, because I mean, I could get in trouble on some of my personal information having these books on there, because truth be told, it's porn. Okay. So, you know, so I present it to them and I let them read it, and they're looking at it and I'm like, oh, by the way, that's for elementary school. Yeah. And they're just sitting there going, no, this is right. See, that's what this is all about. You have too many people out there that hear about, oh my God, they want to ban books, instantly go to that. And it's kind of funny that the other side wants to ban To Kill a Mockingbird, Of Mice and Men. Yeah. That's what the left wants to do. We don't want you to ban it. We just don't think it should be at a school where a child can get it. And
exactly.
Anyway,
it's not a ban anyways. You can still get these damn books on Amazon.
Exactly. Right. They should only be available to adults.
Yeah. That's it. So, as any porn would. I wanted to ask you a quick question about the documentary. Did you try, or were you able to, and what kind of pushback did you get? Did you try to contact people like at the Boston Children's Hospitals or anything like that? Because I know this had to do with like just the books in school and the porn and all that. But as far as the social transitioning part of that, did it lead down that path at all to you, where you're like, well, maybe I should go down here and do this? I mean, I don't know how much savings you got left, but another documentary could be in the works.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that I ever want to do it again.
Every documentary filmmaker we've ever interviewed is like, it broke us, but it was worth it. It's true. It's very true. Yeah.
It's true. It was exhausting. I don't know if another documentary is in the works yet. I actually, if I'm called to do it, I'll do it.
Okay.
I haven't gone down that road yet because I'm still focused on the schools.
Sure.
And the reason I'm focused on the schools is because kids spend 8 hours a day there.
Yeah.
This is in all 50 states. It's not a red state versus a blue state issue. And people seem to think I'm in Texas, I'm safe. You are absolutely not safe in Texas. So, and we have 50 million children in American public schools. That's 50 million children being groomed day in and day out. Yeah. And also all of the things that I'm fighting against include the gender ideology and the confusing, mind warping child abuse that they're putting on children, telling them from in kindergarten, pre-K, they're telling children when you were born, you had body parts. And so they assigned, you had your sex and then they assigned your gender, but your parents may have gotten it wrong. Yeah. So they are putting a brick in the wall between parents and children starting in pre-K, even younger, like 2 years old, daycare. So what if I can succeed with the people I'm working with to get these books removed from schools, then you know what? Then I will also have a ripple effect in succeeding in stopping this gender ideology and this mutilation of children.
It's all connected.
It's scary.
It's all connected.
The people that want to do it, that think it's okay. I mean, let's take a little dig deeper into them. That they want to present this, that they think it's okay.
Well,
for
money,
7-year-old
financially,
to see
they're
this.
getting funding, they're getting backing
And
from the teachers associations, from the Department of Education. It's financial. Same thing with the transitioning portion of it. The cost of surgeries, it's $1 billion industry. So
I know why they want to do it, but I question why teachers want to push these books to these
because
students.
They've been liberalized by the colleges, Jim. They've been liberalized.
I think they're deeper than that, though.
Yeah,
I think there's
still. But I'll give you this example. So here's a little personal, private thing. Boy, good old Dale the other day is having lower abdominal pain. What does that got to do with anything? I don't know, but it's like, why is it happening to me? So right to Google I go. Right, I'm going to diagnose myself. So I'm going on, and I'm like, this really is just hurting. I mean, okay, so I've had a hernia in the past. I'm like, I know what that feels like. This kind of feels like that. Crap. I don't want another one of those, right? And so I'm reading. I go on. So this is the Cleveland Clinic's website. So I'm looking at, and this is just an example of how crazy this has all gotten. But there's a line in the description that says people with testicles may feel testicular pain, and they're people. I'm like, you mean males, right? Like, I mean, as I'm reading that, I'm like, I look at my wife. I'm like, people. Well, I know who those people are. They're called males. This is the whole nonsense, and it stems from the grooming in children, from them believing that it's just people with testicles. It's not males. There's no male. There's no female. We're all, just your doctor was wrong. Your parents are wrong. All that. It's craziness to me that this is all happening out there, and Elena, you and I live in the free state of Florida, where we have probably one of, if not the best governor in the nation. And it's happening in this state. It's happening behind their backs. Even though laws are in place to prevent that, it's still happening. So you're right. When people say it's not happening in my small town in Oklahoma or wherever I'm at, it's happening, people. You just got to wake up and pay attention.
I mean, even on the simplest level of taking puberty blockers, you can get them by mail.
Yeah. That's right.
You can get them sent from any state to any state.
Craziness. Absolutely craziness. Folks, Elena has a show on this network. She does it twice a week. Tell us about the show, what people can expect, what times they can see you, everything else that we need to know about it.
So it's called The Based Mother, and it's on Tuesday afternoons at noon Eastern and Friday nights at 9 Eastern. Today, actually, yesterday's show got canceled, so I'm doing today. If you want,
right after ours,
stay on the network, and it'll be right after yours. I'll be on it at noon Central, noon Eastern. And what I talk about is just American cultural decline. How our morality is failing, and it's all tied into news and politics, and how it's being forced on us that we just have completely destroyed the family unit and basic morality and decency. And even though decency was supposed to be restored in the 2020 election when Joe Biden won.
That's
we knew it wasn't going to be.
Elena.
Yes, he was going to unite. He's talking about unity again, by the way.
Oh, he is.
Which is great.
He can't spell unity. Go on. Yeah.
So I know I'm talking about that, and I also talk a lot about what's happening with our kids in our schools, and the teachers unions and the American Library Association, how they're shoving porn on our kids, and we have to stop it.
Yep. Exactly. I don't know if you saw the video of the National Education Association president, Becky Pringle, the other day. I don't know if you saw. Did you see that bizarre video?
I did.
I'm showing some of it on my show.
All right. Well, I'm going to play it right now, and I'm going to come back for your reaction on it. This is this speaks volumes. Here it is.
Depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things. All the things. All the things. Our colleagues are depending on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA. To preserve our democracy, we must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA.
Who are they?
Psychotic. Psychotic.
Kids can't read. They can't read. They're graduating kids who cannot from high school, signing diplomas with their names on it that these kids can't even read. And this lunatic is up here talking about we're going to win
all the things. Yeah, democracy again.
The college dropout rate is increasing a lot. Here. I mean, it is.
Bring it on. This is what we need. Yeah.
No, that's no problem.
Yeah, that's no problem for us.
I mean, the college dropout rate is increasing immensely every year from year to year to year. And it's because the kids in high school, middle school, elementary, they're not prepared. They're not prepared for life. And you're allowed to take other, when you fail a test and you can, in college, you fail a test, you can't take another one. Okay. So it's just crazy.
I don't even know what she's talking about. We need to take all the things.
All the things. All the things.
I mean, this is the president of the National Education Association.
Well, we see from our politicians what they're concerned with when they talk about education. They're putting in mental health counselors in schools so that they can convince children to think the way they want, that the government wants them to think, and deprogram them from things like Christianity and family values. They're putting in, food programs so that parents don't have to worry about feeding their kids. They get breakfast and lunch and a snack at school. You don't even have to, we'll take care of your kids.
We'll take care of them.
In schools like in Massachusetts, I think it's Lowell, Massachusetts, they have a barber at the school. So parents don't even have to worry about getting the kids a haircut. They can get it done there. It goes on and on where that's all they want to teach kids about sexuality and about activism and about socialism. They are not at all concerned. So those are all the things that she wants. And they're brainwashing, as you said earlier, brainwashing teachers while they're in college, learning to be teachers about climate change and activism and DEI, equity, I should say, not equality, equity. And so teachers are coming into the classroom and hanging up all their social change signs instead of hanging up the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s.
Yep, exactly. Wow. Well, I just wanted to get your reaction on that. I mean, I knew what it'd be, but I mean, I think anybody with ears knows that is just one crazy ass lunatic screaming up there at the podium. Not only college, but while the public school system is just being drained as it should be, because parents are waking up and you look back at COVID and you're like, well, thank God COVID actually happened, because it woke so many parents up to the fact of what are they teaching their kids in school? Wait, you're going to mask my 5-year-old, for 8 hours a day. What is going on? We're homeschooling, we're pulling them out, and it hits their pocketbook, and that's what it takes. It takes funding.
It's not enough, though. There has been a massive increase in homeschooling, but it is nowhere near enough.
Correct.
I tell people say, well, when I tell my kids what's what, they know a boy's a boy and a girl's a girl and blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, listen to me, you can't dip your kid in a vat of poison for 8 hours a day. take them home and give them a bath and think that poison didn't sink in and have an effect on them.
Correct.
And all their friends and their
Correct.
entire social circles.
Yep.
Like you have to get your kids out of there, and people don't want to give up the second car. They don't want to give up the bigger house.
Yep. You're right.
But what's more important? I mean, look at how our society has deteriorated. We've all failed, all of us, by choosing material comfort over our children.
Exactly. 100% true. Could not have said it better. Elena, we'll let you go. We know you got a show to prepare for yourself right after ours, so everyone stay tuned. She'll be on then. I could do I think we could do an entire show with you. It's great having you.
We're going to talk more. We
are going to talk more
because we have a common.
Yeah, absolutely. Bizarrely, and it's so important to keep the message out too.
And we also had a detransitioner on Michelle. She came on our show.
Which was very interesting.
Wow.
So we can share that with you as well.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Okay. So, unfortunately, she just got hit by an SUV. She's okay though.
Yeah.
She was walking across the street, got hit by an SUV. I'm like, boy, your life. I'm telling you. So, she's like, what the hell else could happen to me?
Wow.
So, all right, Elena, thank you so much again. It was a pleasure as always, and we can't wait to talk again and watch your show right after ours. All right.
Talk to you guys soon. In a bit. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, Jimmy. Yep. She's incredible.
Yeah,
she's incredible.
She's fantastic.
Love her energy.
Definitely.
God, love her energy.
Yeah, she's just what she talks about, her passion for the topics and the subject that she talks about is it's like we talk here and there about it. We've talked about it since we come on. And
now, Jim, doing a solo podcast, how difficult it can be.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
Smooth. Like she's just right to it. I love it because she just knows it right off the top of her head. She knows what she wants to say. She's passionate about the subject matter, and she just literally tells everybody how it is. She's incredible. So I can't wait.
Yeah, it's great doing a show by yourself. You don't get interrupted.
Jim, what are the comments saying? Anybody commenting on how rude you're being to me today? Folks, we're going to go down with our show today, and I want to present this to people.
Let's do a commercial.
We'll do a commercial, but I want to present this first, then we'll go to a commercial.
I don't care.
Those listening and joining in, ask us anything. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be about politics.
True.
Just ask us anything. Jim will answer 100% honestly. I'll give you what you want to hear. And so then, but no, ask us anything. It doesn't matter.
Why is Jim wearing this hat? That's probably some of the
because he's also a lunatic.
Especially like Buck Girl, and I'm sure she's wondering why I'm wearing this hat.
Yeah, it should. I think stands for Cleveland. No. All right, Jim, roll us to a commercial. We'll be right back, everybody.
Born in the coastal plains of South Texas, Smoking Gun Coffee is founded by combat veterans that know exactly what a cup of coffee needs to taste like. Run by father and son, each coffee bean is perfected, roasted at 500 degrees, and cooled with a Gulf Coast breeze. Smoking Gun Coffee hand makes and bags each ounce of coffee for maximum customer satisfaction. With every purchase, 10% goes back to organizations that help veterans and local communities. That's Texas made, one bag at a time. To find out more, go to www.smokingguncoffee.com.
Smokingguncoffee.com. Jim, finish.
Just to give you an idea how good the coffee is, folks, I'm a 1 sweet and low packet when I drink coffee. I am able to drink this coffee without sweet and low.
It's saving your life, actually.
That's saving a lot. I mean, that's saying a lot because
saving you money.
It's great coffee.
Yeah.
But one thing I also want to add, if you go out to Smoking Gun Coffee, that's SMOKINGUN coffee.com, you can go up to a coffee club. And you'll see the coffee clubs up there, and you can click on Two Guys, One Coup, and you'll get our beautiful faces on coffee bags. And they'll deliver to you once a month, so you don't have to worry about running out of coffee.
Exactly. What else happens? Use coupon code, Jim. Two Guys,
you got to use.
Well,
okay.
I mean, it seemed like you were dragging it on there. Use coupon code 2 Guys 1 Coup for 10% off.
It's great coffee.
What?
It's great coffee.
There's a question. Anyway, we can get a note about who these participants are. Love to follow each. Of course, and you can also go to the Patriots Prayer podcast network on Rumble. You could see all of our videos there and follow them. But of course we can do that. Yeah. And we can post them on their show times and all that. You can also join our Two Guys, One Coup Facebook group, also the Patriots Prayer Facebook group. We're all over the place, and we'll get that to you. So we appreciate the question there.
Yeah, before we get into the stories, Dale, I do have a list of the shows. If anybody wants to, I do not have.
By the way,
at this point in time.
Chocolate truffle is awesome. Thank you. Yeah, great. Go on, Jim.
I know a couple people that have purchased that already. So you can watch the Raising Cane show with Nate Kane. It's on Thursdays at 9:00 Eastern. Every time I tell you is Eastern time. Okay. The Base Mother, Elena Barbera, is Tuesday 12 p.m. and Friday 9 p.m.
Except for today.
Alexandria 360 by Alexandra Levin, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. And the Conservative Corner with Seth Eisenberg is Sunday at 10. And then the Patriots Prayer Podcast, which is the main one that got us all started. That's with Eddie and Maurice. That is Monday and Wednesdays at 9.
All live.
All live, folks. Everything's all live. And then Damon has started. And I believe his is on Sunday, I think, as well. I don't quote me on that, but we'll look it up the more he gets into it. But so we keep adding to the show, folks. That's how, and you can also go out to thepatriotsprayer.com. And you'll show the hosts, and you can also see the schedule. So
exactly. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. I'm glad you had all that information. That's awesome. Let's get into today's show, Jim. Some stories. They had a judicial hearing yesterday, Jim. Again, the Judicial Committee had a hearing, and it was on the bogus trial from Alvin Bragg and the bogus judge, Juan Merchan. Again, another hearing. Jim and I are, I'll tell you, we always question hearings all the time, because whatever the hell happens with them. Thank you for coming. Nothing happens. Here's what's going on. But we want to show you this part because they had some witnesses, and one of them was retired judge, the Honorable John H. Wilson. We're going to play a video from him first, and then we'll come back and discuss him a little bit. So here is that.
New York City from 2005 to 2014. For 5 years of my term, I served as a night court arraignment judge in Kings County, where I was designated an acting Supreme Court justice. Before my election to the bench in 2004, I served as an assistant district attorney in Bronx County and as a criminal defense attorney. Although I never tried a felony case as a judge, I tried a number of felony cases as defense counsel, including homicides, child molestation, drug sales, etc. I was involved in all phases of criminal litigation for approximately 30 years. I have sat in all three seats: prosecutor, defense counsel, and judge. I do not personally know Judge Juan Merchan, but I am intimately familiar with New York County Supreme and Criminal Court, having spent most of my career in those courtrooms. Based on my experience, I can tell you in no uncertain terms that former President Trump did not receive a fair trial from Judge Juan Merchan. In fact, if the Court of Appeals is fair, and I believe the court will be fair based upon the reversal of Harvey Weinstein's illegal conviction, Donald Trump's conviction is assured reversal, a reversal that would be premised upon the fundamental errors committed by Judge Juan Merchan. If I may be blunt, Donald Trump was railroaded, and Juan Merchan was the driver of that train. For the purpose of this statement, I would like to concentrate on the most glaring problems presented by Judge Merchan.
So he goes on to talk about the problems, but we show you that, and he testified in front of, as a witness, in front of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan in the group yesterday. And big news, folks. Two Guys, One Coup has an extra show this week, and there's a book he wrote, The Making of a Martyr, John Wilson, former retired judge. This Friday, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 7:30 Pacific, Judge John H. Wilson will be on our show live. So, folks, that's this Friday. Stay tuned for it. We'll get more into, of course, his testimony, his book he wrote. He wrote a second one, too, which you guys will very much enjoy. He knows what he's talking about. He's right there in the heart of it all, in Bronx and Brooklyn, the whole works. 25 plus years in the system. We look forward to it. We've had him on our show for those who have watched us before in the past. He was on our other platform. This will be his first time on the Patriots Prayer Network. We're excited to have him. That's this Friday, 10:30. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, during that, Jim, a little bit, real quickly, the report scrutinized. So they uncovered all of this stuff. Obviously, we all know, and we're preaching to the choir here. We all know that the trial was bogus, that it was made up, that it was filled with lies, and then obviously politically motivated. The House Judiciary Committee, led by Chairman Jim Jordan, unveiled a report on yesterday, titled Lawfare: How the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and a New York State judge violated the constitutional and legal rights of President Donald J. Trump. The report scrutinizes DA Alvin Bragg's 34-count criminal indictment against Trump, which was announced on April 4th of 2023. The House Judiciary Committee also obtained a December 2022 email conversation between Biden's DOJ hatchet man, Matthew Colangelo, and New York Attorney General Letitia James's office. Quote, Matthew, glad to see you are back in New York City. Sounds like you and Mr. Trump's paths will continue to intersect. James Sheenan wrote to Matthew Colangelo on December 7th, 2022. 2022, folks. So, like 2 years. I mean, of the planning of that. Bragg's top prosecutor, Matthew Colangelo, previously worked in the Justice Department, Biden appointee, and is a lifelong left-wing activist. We knew that. He was a number 3 guy. Takes a demotion to go ahead and politically prosecute.
Nothing to see here.
For bullshit crimes. So, nothing to see here. But I thought that was interesting, the timing. And, of course, now they've got an... I mean, come on, guys. Nothing to see here is right. But I just wanted to kind of briefly go into that. Jim, tell me a little something you want to talk about today.
When is the black population going to be insulted? And I know some of them are. I mean, they are. I mean, because you're seeing a lot more diverse people, more diversification at President Trump's rallies, right? They're very diverse.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, James.
Duke Medical School claims timeliness and individualism is part of white supremacy culture.
Well, of course it is.
Apparently, they don't think people of color can get to class on time.
Ah, well,
that's what this. That's what this is saying.
They can't afford clocks, Jim.
When are they going to wake up and see that they're being insulted? They're the racist. The left is the racist on it. It's not us.
Yep.
The left is. When is this going to change? The medical school said in its goal to catalyze anti-racist practice through education in a 2021 plan titled Dismantling Racism and Advancing Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Don't we love DEI?
Yep.
The guide praised by the school's dean called out what is deemed white supremacy culture with its purported nitpicking of being on time, dress code, speech, and work style.
Oh, Jesus. Not racist about it.
This is Duke Medical School. This is Duke Medical. Yeah. I mean, it's when are they going to realize that they're calling them stupid? They're calling
every time. This happens all the time.
They're calling you lazy. They're calling guys, we don't feel that way. Come join us. Come join us.
Well, they can't afford computers. We know that, said Governor Hochul in New York. So they can't afford those. They had to be given phones from Obama. I mean, it's like, next is alarm clocks, apparently, so they can get the class on time, it's unbelievable.
Guys, conservatives don't feel that way. We don't. We don't, oh my God, you're going to say it again, but we don't see color. We see people who work hard. We see people who take care of their families. We don't care who you are. We don't care what job you have. If you take care of your family, take care of yourselves, love this country, respect everyone else's opinions. By God, welcome. Welcome to the United States.
Yeah, I do see color. I think we all see color. If you don't, I think it's a bad thing. But I mean, I think you do, and you recognize that. Yeah, we are a diverse nation.
You know what I meant by that.
Yeah, I know that. That. But I'm saying on this end of it, I'm not saying anything, Jim. Take it easy. What is going on today, bro? You okay?
Anyway.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I see it in that sense. We're like, yeah, it's diverse, and we welcome them all legally.
Yeah, please.
You're here legally. I mean, we don't care. Just self-responsibility, like you said, take, and realize that the left, including Joseph Robinette Biden, has been racist since his inception. I mean, yes, he's been racist. He's been against gay marriage. Then he's for gay marriage. Then he's, the guy is, and now he just has no idea what the hell's going on. And because of that, the media is turning on him, Jim.
So with that said, should we play Charles Payne?
Well, I'm going to. Yeah, let's play Charles Payne now. So this is one of them, and then I'll go into another one that, I mean, you may.
Okay, Charles Payne, if anybody doesn't know, he's on
Fox News, Fox
Business usually. Okay, the man's great. Love watching him. He's fantastic. But he appeared on a show, and just listen to what he
was on Greg
what he had to say.
Show. Who beat out Stephen Colbert, by the way.
He's constantly beating.
Impressive. Here it is.
Because we're working at different times. What is your take on how the media is now shifting into, I'm an investigative reporter.
The barn opening door, the analogy you made was fantastic because the debate was it. That was not a cheap fake. Everyone watched it and they're like, what the hell is going on? But the crazy thing is, I printed this up. Remember when they found that they did this big investigation, they found, well, Joe Biden probably committed a lot of crimes, but he's too feeble to stand trial. So Biden says, I'm an elderly man. I know what the hell I'm doing. I mean, God, that headline right there was it. Dude, this is how many months ago? This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's been in plain sight. He's been saying crazy for so long, and we just got to look the other way. But my favorite is when he's around the brothers, right?
Yeah.
Like the Juneteenth celebration. And then this Sunday, he was at the black church. Every time he's around black people, it looks like he wants to call the police.
He used to.
He used to bring them. He used to bring a whole gang of paddy wagons, round them all up. We'll figure out the charges later. But the face, did you see him at the church?
Yes.
He was scared as hell. He said I was raised in a black church, and the guy had to show him how to give the offering. Like, what? We're usually taking money, not giving it. I'm a Biden, damn it. So this whole thing has been so amazing to watch.
It really is. I wish I was only having half as much fun as you are during this, but I'm trying.
When you can leave Gutfeld sort of speechless.
Yeah, when you leave. And have you ever seen Charles Payne like that before in your life? What a blast he was at. And everything he said is true. I know the part about the, when he's every time he's around black people, he has to call the police. But even the better one to me was like the church offering. We're used to taking money.
That was actually, damn it. I think that was actually better than that.
I think so too. But the media, so that's typical. But even the normal media, right? The mainstream media, is turning on Biden because they've been hiding it for so long, and now that it's in full plain sight, it's one of those. We've known it since the beginning that Biden has been either dementia ridden or he's been, just out of touch. Right? We knew that. We've seen it. We all are aware of it. They're admitting it now because they really do know that Trump is just going to destroy him legally in a legal, fair election. Trump wipes the floor with him.
You've seen new numbers come out of for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And national polls are calling for almost 310 electoral votes, right? And it could be higher. It's going up. Keeps going up. But Snuffleupagus, Snuffleupagus, whatever his name is.
Snuffleupagus?
Yeah, Snuffleupagus, whatever that little dweezil's, whatever the troll hobbit's name is on ABC. had that sit down with Biden, and then he was caught on hot mic.
The next one to be fired.
Yeah, the next one to be fired, by the way, was caught on hot mic, and TMZ released it saying that Biden can't last another 4 years.
Yep.
Whoa, wait a second now. Now, of course, we know that their goal really is we need to maintain our power. So we have to get a Michael Obama or a Gavin Newsom or somebody in there that will keep us, in power and all that. Even the mainstream media is saying that. But ABC's shying away from those claims because they know where their bread is buttered, right? They're saying that his views don't reflect those of the channel.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting, right?
Of course they don't.
So for me, the only reason they've hit it for so long, but even the press corps is like really, really, really getting onto like Karine Jean-Pierre and asking some very serious questions. I don't know if you heard this one, Jim.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard this one. So, but here it is,
That was a good one.
Where'd it go?
It's still down there. You just must have clicked.
Karine, you've been dodging our questions all day. We just want to know if the president is retarded or not. For instance, how many times did he shit his pants today? The least you can tell us is how many diaper changes has he had today?
He has had 3. He has had 3.
Okay, at least we know the president shit his pants 3 times today. Thank you, Karine.
No, I did not hear that.
I don't know if anybody heard that one or not, but I was shocked.
It's really not funny, but it is funny.
Oh, we have to laugh, Jim. I didn't think you heard that one. I was just like,
I thought you were going to play where Steve Doocy.
I know. Asked her, like, who do they call at 3 a.m? The first lady. Like, another great clip. But yeah, that was just.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry that she used the R word. I mean, we know how politically incorrect that is. I get it. I'm not. But, yeah. We have to laugh or we'll cry. So, yeah, you are. Yeah, you're not lying. Shit, you're not lying. Excuse me. I'll just cough right in the microphone as professionally as I can. Anyways, that's just, I kind of wanted to get into that. I love that video. So, Jim, what else you got for us today?
Well, hey, gun laws work, guys.
Oh, sure they do.
And there's no better city to prove it than Chicago.
Correct.
At least 100 people shot during July 4th weekend.
Just July 4th weekend.
In Mayor Brandon Johnson's Chicago.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, Breitbart reported that 58 people were shot in the city Wednesday night to Friday alone. 11 of the 58 gunshot victims succumbed to their wounds. By Sunday morning, the tally of gunshot victims had risen to 87 people, 16 of whom died.
Wow.
The violence was so great that ABC 7, Chicago Sun-Times, pointed out one Chicago resident referred to July 4th as Assassination Day. 17, basically what happened is 17 have died from shootings over the weekend. That marks around 27% increase in shooting over the last year. Now, Chicago, which has a 72-hour waiting period on gun purchases, red flag laws, an assault weapons ban, high-capacity magazine ban, and a firearm owner's identification card requirement. The process of acquiring a FOID card involves a thorough background check by the state of Illinois. You think the people shooting the other people have those legally?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what happens when you do gun control? We've been saying it since day one, and so is everybody else. The bad people will always have the guns, and you want to take the guns away from the law-abiding citizens.
Every time. Did you hear Mayor Johnson's response to that and who he blamed? I don't know if you did or not, but I got it for you. Here it is.
So we cut off the pipeline of boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. I'm going to work hard every day to transform this city. That's what it takes to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And I need everybody to step up.
Richard Nixon.
The poor guy. I mean,
we've gone back to Richard Nixon at this point.
We all know what.
And he's the reason for the black on black crime and gang fighting and deaths in Chicago. Are you kidding me? Where's Lori Lightfoot? Boy, do we miss the days of her. Who would have thought? That's he blames Richard Nixon, people. I mean, you heard that right. Richard Nixon. Jim, what else? You want me to tell you a little something here?
Well,
unless you got, so go ahead. I'm not,
you know where I go to this.
Yeah.
In all honesty, and I know people are going to scream, but it started with Ferguson.
Well, we
Missouri.
know. We know it did.
Ferguson, Missouri with,
we know.
At the time, Attorney General Holder and President Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
They caused this.
Yep.
They made excuses for why individuals were where they're at instead of, and that's the problem with the left. Everybody has an excuse, right? It's not my fault, and so that's where it started, folks. I mean, I know we had some bad history. I get it. I understand we had slavery. We had the, and we had.
Did Mayor Johnson even know what Lyndon Johnson said? I mean, he said,
it's they don't care.
They don't.
They don't care.
He does not care.
The black people, the normal black people out there, the everyday black people that aren't their leaders in the House or the Senate or mayors like this idiot, they got to know.
They got to know.
They have to know it at some point in time in their lives. We have to be accountable and just get out of our way and let them go. Yeah. I believe they can. I believe they can do it. We can give opportunities to make it easier on them. I have no problem with that. And I think they can do it, but they've got to be shown that, and they've got to be in education, school. It's got to start there.
Yeah, it does. Anyway. And at home. Of course, the nuclear family is a destruction of the left's plan. That's what they want. So that doesn't bother them, that happens. But anyways, go ahead and blame Richard Nixon. What a buffoon. I mean, what an absolute buffoon. Jim, good news in Wisconsin, but then bad news in Wisconsin. Donald Trump jumps to a 6-point lead over Joe Biden in Wisconsin. Battleground state, no doubt. Big get, right? Part of the major problem in the 2020 election in Milwaukee. We know what happened there. So he holds this lead, but of course, as usual, the liberal Wisconsin Supreme Court just announced that, yes, you can put ballot boxes any damn place you want to, anywhere you want to. Well, geez, look at that. So a 6-point lead will now turn into probably a 5-point loss in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question, Jim? And anybody who's listening out there, because am I stupid here? Should we just not have federal laws? Well, don't answer that, Jim. I am stupid. Yes, I'm stupid.
That was too easy.
I'm an average stupid guy who thinks that, wait a second.
Yeah.
But should there not just be a federal law of how you vote? I mean, this again, and then it goes back to, well, you're a states guy. Everything should go back to, okay, I get that. But at some point, you can't just willy-nilly just have any. I mean, when are they going to, can a state legally right now say, hey, you can vote online if you want? Can that be done? If a Supreme Court in a state or multiple.
We could be like America's, what is that?
American Idol.
American Idol.
Vote America's Got Talent. Vote it off as you want. The Dems do. But I mean, come on. I mean, this is really ridiculous. How can the Supreme Court just say, hey, I mean, they are using this. And of course, the second gentleman, what is he called?
Second gentleman, right?
Jack Emhoff. What's his name?
Yeah, Emhoff.
Kamalis. It's not.
Emhoff.
Who is it? What's
it's
his
name?
Oh, it's Doug. It's Doug. Of course he just got COVID, right? I mean, boy, how convenient, Are people still getting COVID? I'm not making fun of that, but I don't know. I just think I got the flu right now. I got an abdomen thing, and people with testicles might have that problem, according to the Cleveland Clinic. So, but
Can you say that?
Huh?
Can you say that though?
It said It said that people with testicles. Jim, what else you got for us today, my friend?
To add to that, private polling from Democrat and Republican sources revealed that former President Donald Trump has extended his lead in Pennsylvania from 4% to 10%. So what this also means, Dale, he is going to be by 10.
and the counting will stop immediately at 11 p.m. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, this is where the landslide is coming from.
Yeah.
As much as people out there from the left, because this is my Dale, how you like this ticket?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh my God.
Has said it would be an honor for her to be Kamala Harris' vice president.
Oh my Lord.
If a Harris and Whitmer ticket doesn't scare the ever-living shit out of everyone, you're braver than I am.
You are. You absolutely.
Can you imagine that? Can you?
No.
Okay. First of all, you have to have a translator.
Yep. Correct.
Trying to explain what they're talking about. Because if anyone's ever heard Kamala Harris, well, it's because it used to could when you could do it, but when you used to could, but you can't now, but we should do it because you used to could. What?
You sound just like her, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
So anyway, but this is good news. We're starting to see it. Michigan, he's pulling ahead in Michigan.
As he should be.
And I still think New York is in play. I don't care what people say. I don't care what I think it's in play because the unions 2 to 3.
Biden speaking in front of unions as we are broadcasting right now.
2 out of 3 prefer Trump over Biden.
Yep.
And that's just New York unions. We're not talking about the unions there, the auto industry in Detroit.
Yep. Correct.
I think if everything is done fairly.
Yep.
Okay. Landslide, not quite. We talked about this. Not nearly what Reagan did.
Thank you, Don. By the way, go on.
Yep.
Landslide.
Yeah, it's going to be, and it's going to be ugly.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're saying 310 right now is the electoral. I mean, there's no way. There's no way it can't. In a legal election, there's no way it's not that, if not higher. It should have been that in 2020, and we all know it. I mean, from Nevada to Arizona to Georgia to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin to, we all know and we've seen the fraud that's happened. And stay tuned. Hopefully next week or shortly, we're going to have some guests on who actually won a case in Pennsylvania on election fraud.
We're excited about that.
We are very excited about that for everybody
to see.
Correct. To meet those. We're happy to introduce them to this network and to the people listening. So we can't wait for that. Again, Friday, the judge as well. Stay tuned for that.
The next 2 guests that we have, folks, are we have great guests. I mean,
I think so. I think they're all amazing.
Everybody has their own expertise, right? They have their own, and now you're going to get from the legal standpoint from retired Judge John Wilson, and then we're going to have Greg and Leah Hoops, who wrote a book,
Greg
won court cases, Leah Hoops, who man, they lost a lot, especially Greg. But you'll hear the story when we get into it. But I also want to mention. You do the next story, but I also have a little quick thing on Elon Musk and his.
Oh yeah, I wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, go. No, okay.
Well, I thought you had another one. Go do your.
No, well, I do, and it just has about the election, and it's no surprise again because we just talked about Georgia, but I mean, added them into the loop. But thousands of duplicate ballots were counted in Georgia's 2020 election on Tuesday. Software expert Philip Davis testified that thousands of duplicate ballots were counted in the 2020 election in Georgia. In front of the state election board committee is where he announced this. Davis testified on how election workers were cheating by counting ballots numerous times using different tabulators. I mean, they really got this down to a science, these people. I mean, they cheated with every possible method they potentially could. It says here, this was happening in Georgia during the 2020 election. Joe Biden won the state by 11,779 votes. After Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger promised on November 4th that the counting would be finished and President Trump's over 103,000 vote lead was insurmountable. 103,000 vote lead on November 4th that evening. When you count ballots multiple times in the state, anything can happen, obviously. So that's the thing we need to talk about more is what is going to happen in these states like Georgia and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Arizona. Yeah. What is going to happen? What's the next step? We know it's going to be the mail-ins. We know it's going to be the illegals and the names on those ballots. Was seeing somewhere yesterday that they're like, well, there's 20 million illegals. We know the number's 40 to 50. We know that. We know that from experts we have spoke to, trusted experts we have spoken to. That's insurmountable in a way. Again, what you're going to see, Jim, and you mentioned it, you're going to have a Biden or whoever the hell they decide to run at 100 million votes. That's what you're going to see. So folks, it's going to take 101 million of us. Either way, we need to get out and just shove it down their throats, this vote. It's absolutely insane what's happening. Jim, tell me a little bit about Elon Musk. I have no idea what you want to say.
People can say whatever they want about Elon Musk, right? But this is a guy that's in the know. All right. He knows things because this is what his life is.
Yep. Correct.
Right. And, also Greg Stenstrom's going to be able to give you some insight too.
Yeah. Correct.
When we do the interview, but Elon Musk has warned that the Democrats are planning to steal more federal elections by allowing people who are not citizens to vote. We have been talking about this. We have been talking about
the SAVE Act has got
ever since we saw all these illegals coming into this country and asking ourselves at the very beginning, what's going on? There has to be a reason. And then we slowly started figuring out, we know what's going on. They're losing their base. They need to replace the base.
Yep.
Well, according to Axios, House Democrats are predictably planning to strike down legislation that would require proof of U.S. citizenship to vote in federal elections.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. House Democrats are predictably planning to strike down legislation that would require proof of U.S. citizenship to vote in our federal elections. People that have been here for less than 3 years. The Democrats want to have them decide who our president is.
And that's telling, that's the last nail in the coffin. That's the absolute firmest way to say we need to cheat to win. That's admitting it. If there's no other reason that any legislator in this nation would want to allow illegals to vote in our elections unless they need the votes in order to win and cheat. That's the only explanation. Somebody debate me on it. Go on, liberals.
Well, they can't debate us. Call you all sorts of names.
Well, that's true, but they can't debate you on it. That is absolutely 100% true.
And he did end with this one key thing, which I'm seeing a lot more of this now. We should eliminate electronic voting machines. Okay, the risk of being hacked by humans or AI, while small, is too high. Now, you would think Hillary Clinton would be all for this.
You would.
Because that's why she lost the 2016 election, right?
That's right.
The Russians hacked our counting machines.
But she's not.
So you would think that the Dems would be all for this.
Yeah, change of heart they've had, Jim. They've had a change of heart suddenly.
Now, here's what I think should happen. The counting should take place between Schumer and Pelosi in a room all by themselves and let them count them.
Yeah. It seems fair.
I trust that completely.
Well, I'll tell you what, at least they'd be obviously more about it. I mean, at least we'd know. But yeah, this is absolutely lunacy. Jim, I think lastly, for me, we haven't talked much about, climate change and the environment and what needs to happen here. But House Dems joined Republicans to pass crackdown of Biden rules on dishwashers and refrigerators.
Again, here we go.
Yeah, a handful of House Democrats, the ones that are up for re-election, joined Republicans on legislation aimed at blocking new Biden administration energy efficiency standards on refrigerators and dishwashers. The Stop Unaffordable Dishwasher Standards Act by Representative Nick Langworthy, Republican out of New York, and Refrigerator Freedom Act. You ever think you'd have to have any of these names as acts? Anybody? Act by Representative Marionette Miller Meeks, Republican out of Iowa, passed along party lines Tuesday evening. 7 House Democrats voted for each bill. The dishwasher standards legislation passed 214 to 192 with no GOP dissent. The refrigeration bill passed 212 to 192 with one Republican voting against it. Both bills are aimed at prohibiting the Secretary of Energy from enacting and enforcing energy efficient standards for residential refrigerators, freezers, and dishwashers. Blah, blah, boring stuff, right? But who voted against it? Who's the Republican?
Yeah, I want to know that.
I want to know that too, and they didn't tell us. They didn't tell me, so I'll have to look that up. I wish I would have known that. But did you ever think we'd get to this point, Jim, where we'd have to have acts on my refrigerator, who already, these appliance companies already have regulation after regulation after Energy Star stuff, whether that's all bull crap or who knows. I plug my refrigerator in, my brand new refrigerator. I look at my electric bill the next month. It's the same or higher item. I don't know how it compares to the one I had for the last 20 years. It doesn't matter.
To do all the things they needed to do, it has to run harder, which means it doesn't last as long.
Exactly. Which means it doesn't run. And
they're not cheap.
They are not cheap. They are absolutely not cheap. Jim, do you have anything else for the show today?
One thing real quick. If you live in New York, get the hell out of New York.
Gone.
Mayor Adams has paid. He is now blowing another $2.6 million on prepaid debit cards for illegal aliens.
Holy crap.
The total spending, $2 billion in New York. Now, he's getting federal money. Yeah. Guarantee you there's federal money going in there. So what does federal money mean?
Oh,
me living in Indiana, you living in Florida, are paying for that as well.
Correct. Yep. That's what we are. We're all paying for it. This is crazy. So I'm just going to read a couple headlines before we close out the show.
You want me to do a commercial break real quick?
Oh, yeah. Can you do that? And then we'll come right back. Yep. Sorry about that.
Here we go.
I believe no detergent, no hot water, no fabric softener. Now you even threw away all the chemicals to clean your home. I don't need to buy spray to cut through grease. I don't need to buy window cleaners. I don't need to buy carpet shampoo. I don't need to buy things to mop my floor. I don't need to buy things to take pesticide off my vegetables, fruits, and fish. Oh my gosh, where'd this come from? I'll tell you where it came from. It came from hospitals. This is actually a photo of a huge commercial hospital laundry technology that cost in excess of $100,000 if you bought that whole thing, and it'll fill up your garage. That's how big it is. And what we've done with the advent of microelectronic technology, my team and I constantly use microtechnology just like your smartphone. The new EcoWasher SE is a chemical-free laundry and cleaning solution. Imagine, no more detergent, no more chemicals, saves you money, pays for itself, gives you a healthier life, and simplifies doing laundry. And now we're going to include 2 free Thunder Pure Safe Air Minis that purifies your home and sanitizes your surfaces like a thunderstorm in nature, eliminates all odors. Plus, you're receiving $100 off by using code podcast on the new EcoWasher SE. Let me remind you, 2 free Thunder Pure Safe Air Minis plus $100 off during this podcast. Podcast is your coupon code at Eco.
Podcast is the coupon code for that, folks. Go support ecowasher.com. Am I right, Jim? That's correct.
That's it.
Yeah, please go support them. A couple things a couple comments I want to put on here real quick. This one from James. Yes, New York Folks Affairs. A lot are voting Trump. Agreed. There is this one. Paper in-person voting only. Agreed.
Yep.
I mean, that's,
we've actually talked about that. We know you're allowed absentee ballots and everything else, but yeah, we are 100% into that. Agreed. Yes.
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
Indians fan. That was a pretty good point.
Indians. That's absolutely smart. That's why they thought it up. Yeah, she thought it up. It's absolutely Cleveland Indians fan. Good person there. Good Buckeye. OH. Anyways, folks, we're gonna get out of here because we know Elaine's got a show coming up. Elena's got a show coming up.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. Again, this Friday, 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. we will have our exclusive interview with the Honorable Judge John H. Wilson, who
Special
testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee yesterday. Cannot wait for that. So a special episode this week for us. Until then, Jim, I appreciate you. Everybody, I appreciate your support and for watching and listening and liking and sharing. And we are, again, super proud to be part of the Patriots Per Network. What are you saying? Go Tribe, IO. I love it. Here's what look at this. Like, it just happens. I mean, these people, I mean, I'm telling you, we got the greatest listeners out of anybody on the show. Am I right, Jim?
They're great, but their taste in teams are a little, whatever.
Yeah, that's what makes them first class. Jim,
that's what we ought to have a special on, just bad mouthing each other's teams.
We should. Jim, I think we got a new outro. We're going to end it with that. And then, folks, stay tuned for Elena Barbera, the based mother. Her show is coming up in roughly about 25 minutes. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I'm looking forward. Where's our outro, Jim? I got it right here, brother. I got it right here. Until then, we'll see you all this Friday. Jim, thank you. Appreciate it. Bye. Everybody, thank you. Talk to you soon.
You've been listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim. Remember, you can watch on YouTube and Rumble and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it, and it helps others find us when searching for podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Just search for Two Guys, One Coup. That's the number 2, guys, and the number 1, Coup, C-O-U-P. Thanks again for listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast, and God bless the United States of America.